All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. It's Dr. Ephraim. Today's date is January 23rd, 2023. And if you listen to the sound of my voice, that means you were blessed to see another day. For that, all praise, honor, and glory is due to the Most High God of Israel for now and forever. All right, welcome, everyone, new and older subscribers alike. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and select all. That way you'll be notified every time I upload a new presentation. All right, I want to thank everyone for their continued support and liking the videos and commenting because it all helps in the viewership. And, we still got to get these views up, man, for the regular videos. The shorts are doing really well, but I want that to transcend over to the actual presentations, right? There's no channel like this on YouTube. I touch on everything. Are you going to be taught here? You're going to be entertained. I delve in sports. I mean, you name it, right? So leave no stone unturned. So that's the intent. So let's keep engaging and liking the videos and commenting, and let's keep it moving with that. I wanted to do this lesson real quick because I've been seeing a lot of comments and here and there about what being an Israelite really is. Okay, there's some Christian dogma that says there's such a thing as called I've heard terms like spiritual son or spiritual daughter, or I've even heard the term spiritual Israelite. And while I guess on the one hand those terms are kind of admirable in a way, there's really no such thing. Okay, when it comes to reckoning your genealogy, which is of the utmost importance to God, you have to establish your bloodline. That's what reckoning your genealogy means. That's why it starts telling you which male begot which male, and females aren't listed because the male bloodline goes through the father. Okay. Again, it doesn't explicitly say that in the Bible, but it is definitely explicitly implied that the male bloodline goes through the father, right? When it says, who begat who, you notice it'll say they begat sons and daughters, but it only lists the son's name. No daughter's name is ever mentioned. Okay, and that's what I mean when I said it's explicitly implied that the male bloodline goes through the father or the male. Okay, so that being said, um, yes, as a Gentile, you can sojourn with the children of Israel. However, in order to be a child or considered a child of Israel in terms of reckoning your genealogy or establishing your DNA, you have to trace your genealogy back to the loins of Jacob, right? Jacob was one man. Okay, he had one Y DNA haplotype. That's how you know all these different groups and nations of people are not Israel, because that would mean that that Jacob had 7, 8, 9 different Y DNA haplotypes. And that's just genetically impossible. And that's the power of DNA, and that's why I believe the Most High raised me up 8 years ago to bring this DNA knowledge forth to the children of Israel. Okay, the children of Israel that went into slavery by way of ships via the transatlantic slave trade, by the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. Those Negroes or those slaves, their DNA was E1B1A. So if you believe that those Negroes that went into slavery on ships via the transatlantic slave trade are the children of Israel, and their DNA is E1B1A, you have to know and believe that that's what Jacob's DNA is, because that's what our DNA is. I mean, it's common sense. You can't believe one without the other, right? So anyway, I'm not going to get too much into that, but I want to do away with there's no such thing as a spiritual Israelite. Either you reckon your genealogy and you come from the loins of Jacob, or you do not. If you do not come from the loins of Jacob, you are a Gentile, period, point blank. Okay. As Israelites, we don't even need the term Hebrew attached to our name. Israelites stand by itself. We don't need anything attached to it or behind it as an Israelite. That's why, as of late, I've been moving away from the whole Hebrew thing, because there are several Hebrews, but no, uh, all Israelites are Hebrews. Not all Hebrews are Israelites. I touched on that as well. So anyway, let's go ahead and deal with this. What being an Israelite entails, reckoning your genealogy, and no such thing as a spiritual Israelite. The term spiritual Israelite. Let me just say for the record,
that there is no such thing as a spiritual Israelite. Okay, that's about as fake and man-made as Christmas. And that's in no way trying to disrespect anyone or downplay anyone or discourage anyone in any way, because the Most High does give non-Israelites a way in, or a way to receive salvation, and that is by taking up the laws, statutes, and commandments of the children of Israel. Okay, and that whole spiritual Israelite thing, that's more so that more so falls under the Christian dogma, the Christian theology, right? Because your New Testament Christians are the ones that have been trying to basically steal the salvation of the children of Israel, even going as far as to say that they've replaced the children of Israel. So to all you Israelite brothers and sisters out there, if y'all don't understand what that is or what they're trying to do with that, then I don't know what to tell you. And one of the main reasons why a lot of Israelites reject outright the New Testament, because we already have our testament. We already have our laws. It's in the Torah. And again, I'll say this a million times if I have to. If anything you find in the New Testament, I don't care what it is, if it does not line up with Torah, if it does not line up with any of the laws, statutes, and commandments given to the children of Israel by the Most High, reject it outright, immediately, no questions asked, straight up, simple as that. Okay, but anyway, so that's that. But I wanted to address this because I want to address this thoroughly. Okay, because again, I had a lesson explaining why our genealogy is of the utmost importance to the Most High. I already had that lesson, but this whole spiritual Israelite thing it's like it's catching some legs, it's growing some legs. So I want to address that. And so with that said, I want to have a segue into that, because someone who I'm assuming is I don't know, I won't even say the username, it doesn't matter, but someone commented on my channel with the 12 tribe chart that I did. Okay, and essentially I'm going to use that as the basis for the lesson today. I'm going to read what this person said, and then I'm going to read my response, my thorough response by scripture. Because it's one thing to have an opinion about something, but my thing is come with the word, though. Because if the word doesn't line up with what you're saying, then you're speaking womp, 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 womp to me. No disrespect, right? But anyway, so let's get into it. Let's get right into it. Spiritual Israelite. There's no such thing. Now, this person said, quote, wait a minute, let's see here. Made a comment on a YouTube channel on the genetic breakdown of the 12 tribe chart. Okay, all right. I don't know why people black and white insist on falsely and ignorantly thinking that the Bible is separate from DNA and genetics. It is not. As a matter of fact, they go together like hand in glove, but more on that a lot later. The Most High is responsible for coding our DNA so that no other nation of people on this earth has it. I don't know why people can't get that, right? So with that said, let's get into it. So this person said, quote, so what then does one do when and if they find out they are not a part of the 12 tribes? Are they to stop honoring the laws? Do they simply throw out all they have learned? I understand wanting to know on a genetic level who you are, but that proves nothing if you do not endure to the end. Why get sidetracked on who's in and who's out when at the end of the day the judgment call is not ours? The laws make you worthy, not your DNA. End quote. So, wow, she said a mouthful, right? Sounds like a New Testament Christian to me. I don't know. But either way, my response was, and this is my response, Israel. The Most High tells these people and all people of the planet Earth exactly what they need to do, even if they are not genetic Hebrew Israelites, i.e. from the seed and bloodline of Isaac and Jacob. Exodus 12:48 and 49 says, and when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it, and he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. Okay? meaning non-Israelites, i.e. Gentiles, sojourners, can still be regarded as Israelites. It doesn't say spiritual Israelites or nothing of the sort, if they take up Torah and follow the laws, statutes, and commandments given to the children of Israel, not what's in the New Testament. Because if you follow what's in the New Testament, you're going to follow that straight to hell. And that's just straight up. Okay? That tells us that everyone will be under one law if they take up the laws, statutes, and commandments of the children of Israel. So those people are sojourners. To be an actual Israelite, you have to possess the Y DNA haplotype of Jacob. Period. Point blank. And you have to be able to reckon and establish your bloodline as a child of Israel. Okay? And the actual genealogy is of the utmost importance to the Most High. Okay? So you're wrong on that front. It does matter. All right? It doesn't say that anyone else doesn't have a chance at salvation or a shot at being saved, quote unquote. But the children of Israel and our bloodline does matter to the Most High. 1 Chronicles 9:1 says, so all Israel. That means all. Okay? Doesn't matter what north, south, whatever. All Israel were reckoned by genealogies. And I told you on a couple lessons ago, don't listen to Titus and Timothy in the New Testament, because they have nothing to do with our bloodline. They have nothing to do with being a child of Israel. Okay, so they can say what they want. It has no bearing, no meaning to me whatsoever. But 1 Chronicle 9:1 says, and behold, they were written in the book of the kings of Israel and Judah, who were carried away to Babylon for their transgression. Reckon means they had their bloodline, i.e. their genetic lineage, established as an Israelite. So again, you are wrong on all fronts. Genetics proves who are descendants of Isaac and Jacob. And to be able to reckon your genealogy, you have to be able to prove and trace your lineage to those two men, bottom line, because that is the children of the promise through Isaac and Jacob. Okay? The Most High says explicitly, Deuteronomy 7:6, for thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. All right? And that doesn't mean that we're better than anyone or whatever the case may be, even though people have hated us since the beginning of time, basically. But it does mean that we have to be a beacon of light, because Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, said salvation is of the Jews. Okay, and what I just read a little bit ago, that's the precept for that. That's where Christ got that from. He didn't just pull that out of his hat. Okay, he's speaking directly what came from the Most High. Salvation is of the Jews, and he told the truth. Okay, the people that the Most High is talking about, again, in Deuteronomy 76, are the children of Israel. The nation he chose has to know who they are. And the only way, the absolute only way to establish or reckon our genealogy as a seed of Jacob is through our DNA. Period. Point blank. Okay? It says nothing about spiritual Israelite or anything along those lines. It doesn't exist. You won't find that anywhere in Torah, because it doesn't exist. And if it doesn't exist in Torah, why are you promoting that? You don't have to make sojourners feel good about themselves. I mean, the Most High already gave them a way in. They're sojourners. He doesn't see them, if they take up the laws, statutes, and commandments given to the children of Israel, the Most High doesn't see them any differently. So you don't have to make them feel better about calling them a spiritual Israelite. No, they're not a spiritual Israelite. They're a Gentile. They're a sojourner. I'm sorry, they're a sojourner. Okay, but if they do what the Most High said, he will look at them as one of us. And he said that explicitly. So you don't have to make up expressions and make up words to make them feel better about sojourning with the children of Israel, the real children of Israel. Okay? And no race on this planet has the DNA of the children of Israel. I've proven that over and over and over again through my comprehensive E1B1A video, my 12 chart video. I mean, all throughout, I got close to 50 teaching videos over the years, and I've went through that ad nauseum. No other race on this planet has the DNA of the Negroes, period. And that was by design and on purpose. Okay, the Most High wanted our bloodline DNA separate from everyone. And guess what? It is. Okay, so our DNA slash genealogy is of the utmost importance to the Most High God. So much that he even took that a step further, and he went as far as separating Jacob and Esau's Y DNA haplotype in Rebekah's womb. Ordinarily, when two brothers are born, especially if they're so-called twins, right? They ordinarily have the same Y DNA haplotype of the father. That's ordinarily. But Jacob and Esau weren't two ordinary kids, and that situation was far from ordinary. You're talking about two men that literally, Jacob was the seed of the chosen people of the Most High God. You think for 1 second the Most High is going to have Esau's Y DNA the same as ours, his chosen seed? First of all, he wouldn't do that, number one, because there's no continuity there. How would we know if Esau's descendants had our Y DNA? How would we know who they are? How would we be able to identify them? We wouldn't. See, because the Most High didn't do that for him, because clearly he knows who's who, right? But he did that for us. So we have continuity. That's why the descendants of Esau's Y DNA is different from the descendants of Jacob. And that's how we can tell who's who. Okay, so he said in Genesis 25:23, and the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So let's break that down. He said, the Most High said, two nations are in thy womb. Well, what is that? What does that mean? Nation. Nation equals bloodline. Okay? Nationality. Where you descend from. That's your lineage. That's your line. That's your bloodline. That's the nation. Bloodline equals Y DNA haplotype for males. What Y DNA haplotype is what you got from your father and what he got from his father, and it goes on and so on and so forth. That's your bloodline lineage, your Y DNA haplotype. That's how you trace that. Okay, and in genetics, so because he didn't want the seeds of Esau to have our DNA, because like I said, again, there's no continuity if he did that, if he allowed that. If the seeds of Esau had our DNA, we're E1B1A. They defaulted to E1B1B. Why? I do not know that part, but I just know that they did, right? So if that doesn't, and he did that in Rebekah's womb, no one was outside of the Most High could achieve anything like that. That's just so supernatural right there, you know, because like I said, ordinarily, two babies born of the same man is going to have the same Y DNA haplotype, but that was no ordinary situation, not by a long shot. Okay, so you know, given that information, if anyone can't see just how important the children of Israel's DNA is to the Most High, then you know you just don't want to see it, or you just weren't meant to. You know, because it's a simple concept. All right. And this is exactly why he raised one of us up, you know, in me to bring this DNA genetic teaching forward, because it shuts down all the lies and the false claims of all these different groups all over the world claiming to be Israelites. I mean, think about it. I don't think I have enough time in this presentation to go through all the different, you know, groups of people who claim to be either quote unquote ancient Israelites or descendants of, you know, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, if you go to the promised land, you know, you'll find a whole bunch of skeletons and fossils of invaders and rapists and people that were not invited to the land of Israel, right? And this is why the DNA is so skewed to this day, because they're unearthing all these fossils and bones of colonizers, of invaders. So they're not getting an accurate view of the DNA or genetic profile, if you will, of the children of Israel, right? So that's what it is, you know. And then real quick, while we're on this subject, this goes into the whole Noah's three sons, you know, Abraham, Shem, you know, Japheth, and Ham. You know, their job was to repopulate the world, but yet we have, from those three men, we have all these different, haplotypes and haplogroups. And from a generic standpoint, you would think, how in the world did that even happen? From three men, you have all these different races, different haplogroups, haplotypes. I mean, that's some phenomenal thinking stuff. But see, that's just it. They had to do something that was very supernatural. Don't think for 1 second the Most High wasn't in that whole repopulation thing with Shem, Ham, and Japhet. Please don't get it twisted. His hand was in this whole thing, because otherwise, there's no way that we exist. I used to think, way back in the day, I used to think that the if you guys are familiar with the Tower of Babel story, I used to think that's how and why we got all the different races and the different languages and stuff like that. I thought that was the event in the Bible, as as to how we got all these different languages and different people speaking different tongues and whatnot. But anyway, if you really think about it, you had some extraordinary men tasked with doing some extraordinary things, and the Most High's hand, his handprint is all in it. I mean, it's all in our DNA to this day. All right. And again, this lesson wasn't to disrespect anyone, or to downgrade anyone, or discourage anyone at all. But I had to let it be known. I have to speak the truth to the children of Israel, and thus said the Lord. And there's no such thing as a spiritual Israelite. So let's please stop that. You brothers out there that's pushing that spiritual Israelite thing, please knock it off. Anything that you might even point to that to try to use to justify that in the New Testament, because you sure won't find it in the Torah. It's a lie. Okay, so again, we don't need that. The Most High already said that sojourners, non-Israelites or Gentiles, okay, they can be saved if they take up the laws, statutes, and commandments given to the children of Israel. All right, simple as that. All right, brothers and sisters, that's it.
That concludes this lesson on today. I hope you all got something from it. Until next time, this is Dr. Ephraim signing off, saying Shalom, elect.